We back, y'all. We back with episode 2, season 2 of Beauty in Black. I don't know if it was as good as episode 1. I'm gonna need you to tell me. I know some of y'all saw what I saw, and if you didn't see what I saw, I want you to hear what I'm saying. Let's get into it, y'all. Let's get into it. Rain, I was always curious to know if she had a BBL, and it looks like they wrote it in. Like her butt was bubbled. It was bubbled. Notice that at the beginning of the show. So I was always kind of wondering. And then they're going to try to play it off like it hurt for her to sit down. It should have been hurting every time they hit a bump in the truck. Every time they hit a bump in the truck. But anyway, it's just television. I'm doing too much. I know. Varney has no explanation. He has no explanation when he's caught by Roy coming out of Charles' place, getting ready to go into the garage. He has no explanation. And Charles don't care at first. He didn't care at first. But anyway, so Varney, he's tripping out. He's scared that, or he's thinking that Charles set this up. Now, why would Charles set it up for Roy to come over to his house? He says Roy never comes over there. Why would he set it up? He'd only be hurting himself to set it up so that Roy could see what was going on. Now we know Roy is going to use this as leverage. But let me get into my notes because I'm moving a little bit too fast for myself. Charles told Varney to take the phone from his boxers after Varney was accusing him of calling Roy over. Why didn't he take the phone? Why didn't he just take the phone? You already been down there. You done seen his Lincoln log more than once. Why didn't he take the phone? I don't know. But no, Charles didn't do that. He didn't call Roy. And although Charles tried to pretend like he didn't care, I do believe that a part of him cared that Roy saw what he saw. Rain called the butler an N. She called him the N-word. I'm telling y'all, and y'all gonna get tired of me saying this, she is not my favorite character at all. She's tacky. She's too involved. And I believe that her attitude, and it always has, and I said this before, it kind of reduces Kimmie in just a way. And I'm hoping that Kimmie would just turn around and say, you know what? Shut your face. I might be going too fast. I might be tripping, but I hope that one day she just goes ahead and tell Rain to shut her face. Now, Roy is being petty. He flattened Varney's tire. Why? I guess he just wanted to be able to just look him in the face and say, listen, and Varney couldn't just pull off. Well, Varney wasn't going to just pull off because Varney was in shock that he saw them and heard what they had been doing. I wonder how much he heard. Did he hear Varney confessing his love? Did he hear Charles not accepting his love? I wonder. Now, I wanted to say this the last time, but I forgot. Charles is emotionally detached. Don't know why. Maybe it's something that happened in his childhood. Maybe he feels that he was not favored as a child, but he is definitely emotionally detached. And I think he knows that he has a bit of a problem, but that's just the psychological part. The psychology I might just be going too far, y'all. Y'all know I'll be tripping. But anyway, Roy, he just makes Varney say, I'm your bee. And I was hoping that he wasn't gonna say it. Come on, you too big for that. You should have just knocked him in his head or moved his little behind out the way and went on about your business. He's going to use this as leverage. Roy wants to know all that he can find out about Kimmie. He wants her moved out the way, basically. He just wants her moved. He wants her moved out of the picture. But the thing is, even if he moves, but see, Roy is not thinking because there's a clause. Nothing can happen to these individuals, especially if it's an inside job. Roy tripping. He needs to read the fine print. Now, I might have said that wrong, but nothing can happen. This part I know. As I said before, Rain is too far in. Kimmie, I wonder what Kimmie's thinking about all this, because at one point she made a face, and I think that she's very leery and she's being cautious about how she's reacting to this big life change. Rain is just all the way in there, and it pissed me off when she's like, okay, we need put some money to the side. I get that. I get that, but you're doing too much. All I keep seeing is when they were in that Walmart and she convinced a young, impressionable Kimmie to get on that plane. That just pissed me off. She's a Debbie Downer. But anyway, I just hope that this whole narrative changes. Excuse me, with Rain. I wanted to include this. The steps at Mallory's house were so beautiful. I know you guys are like, oh, you're doing too much. I know there's details, and they were so beautiful. They put me in the mind of moccasins, like the moccasins that the Indians made and wore. It puts me inside in that mindset. They were really beautiful. If you didn't see them, if you didn't notice them, you might want to go back if you're an art enthusiast, such as myself. But they were beautiful. Melly and Roy, they did begin to talk about the murder. They're giving it to us in bits and pieces. I'm interested to see where it's going to go, how it's going to set, because was she going to receive a part of the money, the wife? I don't even know the wife's name, y'all. But was she going to receive a part of the money? Was she receiving part of it? Because if you think about it, if Mallory killed the wife, then would she not lose her inheritance? I might be way off. But if she killed a wife, that's going to affect her monies. So you guys think about that. I wonder if she was part of in the will because she was a family member. But if she killed her, I mean, if it's in the will, then that's going to cut her money. And I love to see it. I'd love to see it because she deserves it. Anyway, I just got really attached to the whole thing. The new driver with the beard, it was so distracting. And he looked suspicious from the beginning. He looked suspicious and he looked like he was off a little bit, but it turns out that he was off a little bit. He followed Mallory to the hotel to meet Felicia, and Jules had him following her. Mallory is too smart for that, and Jules is too stupid to realize that, come on, stop following this woman. She knows when she's being followed. She knows when she's being followed. They live on a private road. And what that is when this road is just for them. So all of the houses that they live in are on this road. The family is on this road. So if he wasn't obviously following her. Well, you know what? He had to follow her from the road because he was at the house. So Jules is just slipping. I wanted to say this last time I was trying to remember what Jules' lips reminded me of. And it reminds me of something I used to wear when I was younger. And I didn't wear makeup, and this was in my club days. My friends used to tease me because I used Aquaphor. Aquaphor is the sister to Vaseline. So that's what his lips kind of looking like. So they're not real shiny. They're giving a little dry appearance, but they're moisturized. But anyway, his lips are distracted. I just wanted to say that before I forgot all about it. Now, Jules has the drivers in his pocket. Now, Alex, he wants out, and I believe he wants out. I don't think that he's calculated. He wants out, and I think that he has a heart. But Jules has something over on him. And then the other officer who Kimmie took the car from. I think she took the car from him, or however it went. They went off the road. This was last season. I'm sorry, I can't remember all the details. But she got away from him as Jules had this guy, don't remember his name, kidnapping her. But anyway, Alex, I believe, wants out. But you guys, is he a good guy or no? I'm kind of going with good guy because he told Kimmie at the end that Angel is incarcerated. But I'll get back to that. I'm not quite there. Horace at the hospital, he said something, guys. When he called the guy who's the father-in-law of the deceased, he said he didn't want whoever it was, whatever they're going to do, to affect someone he loves. He was talking to the father-in-law of the deceased. Got to keep that together. He didn't want anybody to affect someone he loves. And then he said, my wife. Like, don't mess with my wife. And then I thought about it. Or was he talking about Angel? Because you got to remember, he gave Angel without knowing he was giving Angel over to this guy. So I'm wondering, does he love Kimmie or is he loving Angel? Which I don't see how he could love Angel because they don't have any true interaction. The only interaction they have is the little, voice way thing, but you don't get to know a person that way. And then they had the interaction when they were going to rob Horace and they didn't. Then they had the interaction when he got Angel, pulled him off to the side because he had his watch. But that wasn't what I consider the interaction. I guess you could kind of like somebody, but the question is, who is he saying that he loves? But anyway, he later finds out that Angel is the person that he was giving away via Alex, who told Kimmie at the bank. But I'll get to that. I'm going too fast. Mallory wants to see Felicia at the hotel. Stop it. What are you trying to do? It doesn't matter what you find out about Kimmie. It's nothing she can find out about Kimmie that Horace doesn't already know. But the scary part about it is Horace has made how can I say? He has a reputation of being at the club because, Felicia saw him. Now, luckily, nobody saw him in, I guess, VIP except for Angel and Kimmie. I'm glad of that because that would be horrible if that came out, but I'm pretty sure they could fix it. But I hope it doesn't come out. I forgot that Mallory didn't know that Jules is a pimp, but you got to look at it. Horace found out, but all this happened so fast that the information hasn't come out. But Horace found out that Jules is a pimp. So now Mallory knows. What she's going to do with that information, I don't know, because I don't believe that Jules has a stake in the Bellary empire. I think he just works for Horace. I can't remember his position. I don't know. I'm kind of putting him at something like a chief of staff kind of. I could be way off, but that's what I'm getting from that. But now Mallory knows that Jules is a pimp. And but see, that's stupid because she doesn't really have to wonder what Horace is doing there. She should, once she finds out that Horace's brother, Norman, had played a role in this club thing with Jules, then that should kind of matter. But then she has to wonder, what's he doing there? What's he doing? How he knows Kimmie. That's the thing. How he knows Kimmie. But at this point, does it matter for real? Somebody help me out because I don't know. But does it really matter? You all have to excuse. I'm using notes. Okay, I'm that type of girl. I'm using notes. Let's get into it. But the question is Mallory really on to something with Horace? Is she on to something? Funny thing that happened. Felicia told Mallory, you got a nice car, where we riding, where we going to. Why did Mallory say to Felicia, smells like you want to be alone? That's something I would say. I think I'm going to adopt that. But yeah, smells like she should be alone. That was funny. And then she told Jules that she needed to see him. She wanted to talk to him about the information that she found out from Mallory, and she didn't care if he had surgery scheduled to save his life. That was crazy. That was wild. I need to know who's writing this because, Tyler, come on. I don't think that this is all you. Can't be. But anyway, so that's when we find out for sure that this driver with the exaggerated beard was nothing but somebody that was working for Jules. This is when we find out for sure. Please, I'm just begging, please don't put Rain and Sylvie in the wheel. Now, if he does do it, he can always change it. But I just don't want him to do it. Rain is too nosy. She's all over it. I have to remember that they came from nothing. I have to remember that. I have to get out of my head thinking about myself and how I think I might handle it. I have to remember that they came from nothing together. I have to remember that Rain has been a ride or die for Kimmie. I have to remember that. But in the meantime, I'm gonna have to work on that. Rain is she's too nosy. She's too involved. I gotta say this about Sylvie. Her lashes was cute. When they was in the backseat, they was nice and full and cute. They were not too big, too floppy. I like that. I appreciate that. I can't wait to see what she's gonna look like when they, fix her up and they do her hair. She's a very attractive girl. At this point, they got her looking like she's 12. But I can't wait to see that. Angel. I'm so glad that when Jules went to go see Angel, that Angel did not snitch on Kimmie. They have that down pat. Angel, Rain, and Kimmie do not turn on one another. And you have to look at it. They're all they have. They are all they have. I'm glad he didn't turn on him. I hope and I believe that they will strengthen Angel's character. I believe that they will do it because he looked kind of strong and I can see him being strong. I want to see Angel win because I know I sound hypocritical. Yes, he pulled them into this life, but he was already there in a sense. Yes, he pulled them into it, but I guess I'm looking at him differently because come on. It's time for you to be a man. He too big to not be one. Andrew got some big arms. He got guns. He's too big to not be tougher. So I'm hoping that they strengthen his character and he becomes a boss. I could see that. I could see that him becoming a boss. I know y'all like, okay, he did. I'll get to that. But anyway, so Angel pulled out the big guns. He has artillery. He has his artillery for Jules. He knows about Jules living in the suburbs and having a family. He even knows his wife's name. He had to pull out the artillery because here come Jules trying to threaten him using his son and the mother of his child. But no. He pulled out the big guns when he said, listen, I know all about Tiffany. He pulled out the big guns until he didn't. Just keep that in mind. I'll get back to that at the very end of the show. Going back to Rain. She's a hood rat, okay? She's a hood rat. They go to the boutique. They're looking at jewelry. She's like, okay, buy one to wear and one to sell. Look, go have several seats. If things were to go left, then just go sell what you had. That's just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Kimmie is kind of, excuse me. She's kind of along those lines, but I think that she's going to start looking at Rain like, okay, you kind of devaluing my character. And when I say character, I'm not talking about the character on the show. I'm talking about characteristics character. I think that's what's going to happen. Anyway, so Kimmie, well, Rain wants to know how much money is in the account. Now, we know we have a black card and there's no limit. But she wants to know, excuse me, guys, my throat. She wants to know how much money is in the account. Okay. So she convinces Kimmie to go to the bank. They get to the bank. Rain is trying to look classy. She tried it. She didn't cut her hair and she got on this nice, so they think, outfit. I wasn't really feeling Kimmie's outfit, but it'll get better. I'm positive it'll get better because I saw clips. But anyway, I was pissed. Okay, they find out that Kimmie has, I think, 1.7 in her savings and 1.5 million in her checking. Okay, that's good money. That's really good money. But it didn't sound so good when she decides that she wants to open 2 accounts, one for Sylvie and one for Rain. So she's going to give them $500,000 each. That's $1 million. That's $1 million. So you've given them more than half of one of your bank accounts. More than half. Why? First of all, Sylvie's a child who's never had anything. You're going to trust her with that amount of money? I'm not saying anything bad about Sylvie. Sylvie is a child. She still needs to be given an allowance. I'm sorry. She's a child. And not only is she a child, she's kind of immature for her age. Kind of, sort of. I could be off, but she's a little bit immature. And then Rain. Rain is going to blow through that money. Now, I do believe that if there's going to be something with that money that's going to mold Sylvie into something else. I'm just dead set on that she's going to do something that's going to kind of break her up from the relationship somehow. I see it. I don't know if she's going to go back to the mom and try to help her. I got this thing going with the club. Something's going to lure her away from being in that small group. Something's going to get her attention, and maybe she thinks she's going to be doing better that way, or maybe she's going to get strung out. I don't know. I'm sticking and staying with that. I'm just adamant about it. But anyway, I got a headache when she was talking about opening those accounts. Now, why did she tell Rain to go? Well, I guess this was their way for Alice to come in and let her know that the Angel is in jail. So he got rid of Rain to go get Sylvie so that he could come in. But then you also have to think about, where was Rain? Why wasn't she in the bank? I could be doing too much, y'all, but I just got an eye for detail. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but I saw what I saw. Okay, so once the driver tells Kimmie that Angel is in jail, Kimmie already acted like a boss, because she like, okay, so what you got to say and get out my face. That's what I was getting from that. I appreciate that, because she does not know who to trust. And she knows that he knows things that she did, like the thing with Delinda. She knows that. So after Kimmie finds out that Angel is in jail, she calls Horace, and Horace was like, oh no, I'm getting ready to send him to get killed. So Horace has to make that right. I know you guys are probably thinking, but Angel's dead. He is not. He is not dead. What happened there is Angel, they shot him up, but Angel's not dead. Angel is either, first I thought he was in shock. He's not in shock. Angel is playing dead. I do believe that he's pretending he's playing dead because he don't want to die. He want to get back to his life or start a new life. I'm pissed because Jules, no, not Jules, the other officer told Angel to get down to the club, basically. Get down to the club. Let's see you there tonight. Get back to work. But anyway, so Angel is not deceased. I believe that Angel is pretending. And he's going to pretend just long enough for Horace to stop this killing that he thinks that he ordered. Stop this hit that he ordered. Angel is still alive, guys. And I'm glad of it, because I'm looking forward to seeing his character become stronger. And I'm looking forward to him becoming a boss. I hope that he and Kimmie can work close together to make this company grow. I'm hoping that they get rid of Rain some kind of way. I don't care about Sylvie, because she's definitely in the way, because she's a liability. I don't know. Maybe she should send her to boarding school, but that's not going to happen. Just they gave him too much money. But anyway, I'm looking forward to Angel and the position he's going to play. I'm hopeful, guys, and I'm staying on it, that those lemons were poisonous, and that Horace will perhaps stay ill for the greater part of this season, maybe wake up the end of the season and get everybody together. And that when he said that the person he loved, maybe that's Kimmie, this thing with Angel, maybe it was the drugs and the lemons. I know y'all like, girl, you going too far. Hey, I'm a writer and a romantic. I believe in love. I love, 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 love. And I'm hoping that this is the drugs or the poison that Mallory was feeding to those lemons. I'm sorry. Somebody let me know what you think in the comments, because I'm eager. Hey, I'm open to learn. I'm open to hear. And I'm open to like a little bit of an emotional tryst. I'm ready to fight with my emotions, with my words. Guys, I'm getting ready to get out of here, because I now have to get into episode 3. I'm going through these. I'm flying through, because I'm trying to catch up. I think I got, is it 7 more episodes to go? I'm getting ready to get into it, guys. hang tight, because I'm coming back with episode 3. Bye.